Okay, so Uncle Andrew had just asked where the time machine was, and it's in the garage, and then Shia adds, we just finished using it, all right? Remember, they were in the age of the pirates, so they just finished using the time machine, or, making the time machine do what it does. They were using the machine, as people do.
Okay, and Uncle Andrew then says, we need to talk about that, kids. And this is kind of starting to sound serious.
It does. Talk about them using the time machine. Okay, so Roxy's starting to think that there's a problem, so Roxy asks the kinds of questions you ask if you think there's a problem. What's wrong is the main question you would ask anyone if there seems to be a problem. What's wrong, or what's the problem? Are we using it too much? She asks as kind of a guess as to maybe what Andrew is worried about. Are they using the time machine too much?
Well, he says, no, it's not that. He doesn't mind them using it. They're getting a lot of good education about people and places and times.
And they're quite careful when they use it.
Yes, exactly. But he gives them the reason now. He says, I'm going to use it to go to the future. Remember, he's from the future.
Yeah.
So he seems he wants to go back there.
He wants to go home.
Exactly. Now, when we say the future, we're using it as a noun to mean a specific place or time. It's a word power word, and it's spelled F-U-T-U-R-E, future. Let's find out what it means. So, the future, and we always say the future, is the time that will come after the present, which is the events that will happen right now. And we use the future to talk about the time and also the events that will happen then. Here's an example. In the future, I want to work at the zoo and look after the animals. In the future, I want to work at the zoo and look after the animals. So he's going back to the future, as it were.
And that seems reasonable. That, it shouldn't be too surprising. So once he's explained what he wants to use the time machine for, Shia listens and then says, I understand. Okay, I get that. I can understand that. That makes sense. You want to visit your own time again. Shia sort of explains back just to make sure that, yeah, I totally get it. You miss your friends, you miss your home, you want to go back and visit.
Yeah, it's like me flying back to the UK or you to Canada. It's just like taking a visit home.
Right.
So Roxy naturally then asks, when will you come back?
Oh, okay. So you're going on a trip, and obviously, once you go on the trip, you come back home after some time. That's what the kids are thinking. But Andrew explains, their Uncle Andrew explains, I'm not coming back. It's a one-way trip to the future, and I'm not coming back. And of course, I guess that also means the time machine is not going to be coming back either.
Oh my goodness.
Probably. So he says, this time I'm going to stay there. So yeah, it's a one-way trip. He's going to go home and stay home. All right, and here we have this word stay. It's a word power word. Stay is a verb, and it's spelled S-T-A-Y, stay. All right, to stay basically means to remain, to not go, to not change, to be as you were before. We can talk about staying in a place. If you're sick, you'll decide to stay home. If you go on holiday in a beautiful place, you'll say, can we stay here forever? I don't want to go home. And you can also stay an adjective, right? If you don't eat lunch and you're hungry before lunch, well, you'll stay hungry. All right, so you can talk about a condition, a place, or a situation not changing. It will stay the same, for example. We could say, how long will you stay in Taiwan? How long will you stay in Taiwan?
Okay, so Uncle Andrew's kind of dropped a big, we call it a bombshell there.
That is news. Big
and
news.
He says, I'm going to the future, I'm never coming back, neither is my time machine. And of course, Roxy and Shia react by going, what?
This is shocking.
Yeah, they say it together, and you'll notice we use all capital uppercase letters, which when you're writing, that often means like they're shouting. It's a really big surprise. What?
That's right. They're very, very surprised and shocked by this news. And Andrew kind of understands. He says, sorry, kids, your adventures are over. That's such a sad way of saying it, but yeah, it's kind of true. At least they're time-traveling adventures are over. And what is an adventure? An adventure is basically an exciting story or experience. If you go on a holiday trekking through the Amazon, you might have many adventures. And we also like to read adventure stories or watch action movies, which are full of the adventures of James Bond or, other exciting superheroes or things like that. So an adventure is an exciting, sometimes a little bit dangerous story or experience. And certainly traveling through time and, going to the ancient Great Wall or seeing dinosaurs, these would be adventures, but with no time machine, the kids' adventures in time are, over.
They're over.
Well, I guess they could make their own time machine.
Well, we'll see about that. But right now, we see in the description, Roxy and Shia can't believe it.
Stunned.
Yes. Now, if you can't believe something, you just think, there is no way that could be true. And we kind of use it to talk about people's reactions when they hear surprising or shocking news. It could be good or it could be bad. It's actually also something people say a lot out loud when they receive that news. You would say, I can't believe it. It just shows how surprised and shocked you are. Now, it's a bit different from I don't believe it. If you don't believe something, you really think it isn't true, whereas I can't believe it is more about showing big surprise. So different between can't believe and don't believe. But that's where we're going to have to leave them for now, dealing with that big shock, because that is the end of day one of this article, and it's time to go to our wrap-up game.